What up, Chicken Nuggets? Tyler here with Sports Cards Are Dope podcast. And Finn. Finn's joining me. We just got back from Fanatics Fest last night. We went all 3 days, or I went 3 days, he went 2. And so we were going to kind of give you our initial thoughts on Fanatics Fest. And I'd love your thoughts if you went in the comments, if you're on YouTube, if not, if you're on Apple or Spotify. Thanks for being here. And yeah, let's rock and roll. First off, overall, Finn, what were your feelings as a kid going to this? How would you rank Fanatics Fest as a show?
It was really fun because I saw all the people that I actually like.
Yeah, like who?
Sketch. I saw Speed.
Speed. You saw Speed. You saw the Rizzler.
Yep.
You saw that Joey Chestnut. You got a photo with Joey Chestnut.
Yep.
You almost got a photo with Rizzler and Sketch, but their security would we were not playing games. Yeah, so it was good. So
I didn't want to he was filming a video and he was walking. So if I walked up and I accidentally stopped in front of him, I wouldn't want to trip him or anything. So.
That's fair. That's pretty considerate, Finn. That was really considerate of you. Yeah. So my thoughts on it. I just kind of get an idea. If you went, I'd love your thoughts in the comments. I know, I don't know, from what I can tell, a lot of people, sorry, that's great for podcasting is sneezing. From what I can tell, a lot of people, the negative things, you always hear the negatives because that gets the clicks and the views, and that's what the algorithm pushes. But one of the criticisms I heard after last year's was that it felt like the sports card portion, the dealers and the guys with booths, they were they were put out in the back, like Cinderella. You know, Cinderella, you don't get to sleep in the main house. You're outside. You got to sweep our chimney. You know what I mean? They felt like they were pushed to the back. This year, from what I heard from everybody, is the dealers said they were more prominent. They had just a better layout of the floor. And so sports cards felt a part of it. Is this a sports card show? No. That is not the priority of this thing.
Convention.
It is a sports convention. It's like a festival for sports. Now, are sports cards integrated into this convention? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Topps booth had the longest line the whole time because they were giving away packs. You had booths and dealers everywhere on the floor. You had a breakers pavilion. They were handing out cards. But what you see is on social media, it's you've got Kevin Durant, you got Speed, you got Tom Brady, you got all these different...
And LeBron.
Oh, LeBron. Yeah, that's the biggest one that was there. You've got athletes, creators, all these people, and they're spread out. And they had film crews every time they bought some at a table. There was a professional film crew with a boom mic, 2 cameras, and they're filming it. And I noticed on social media, they're putting those clips, essentially as soon as they get it, I've done a bunch of conferences, and they have essentially a guy editor in there that they just bring. They probably had multiple editors, but they bring the footage to right after something happens, and that person's editing and putting out content immediately. They want to be first on there because I think, from what I understand of whoever's making the decisions at Fanatics on this, they see the power in social media, and it's a feeling of, I wish I was there. It's too late if you see it on social media. Unless you live in New York, it's too late for you to go. They sold out of tickets on Saturday.
Yeah.
You pretty much sold out. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to create FOMO, fear of missing out. They want to make this event a thing, and they want to document it and put out videos on it and have it spread in a way to where people feel like they are missing out on something that they want to experience and be a part of. And that seems like their strategy. And honestly, it's a great marketing strategy. We do that in conferences. I do that at events. You want to show pieces and clips of something in a way to where people want to be there next time. They feel like it's something they can't miss out on. And so I think they did a very good job of that. And I'll get to my ideas and things that I would recommend later, but it is you can tell their strategy is not to we need to bring in more card collectors. There's a chunk of people that collect cards. It seems to me, from the way it was set up and the way they did it, their goal is to bring in sports fans and then hopefully turn them into collectors. It's almost like, I use this like a Trojan horse for getting people into the hobby, essentially. They're not going to push cards. And you could tell, in the Fanatics game, they had 50 pros and then 50 Joes. Of the 50 Joes, I think there was only 4 or 5 people that collect cards. Like literally 5% of the people in the Fanatics games were card collectors, to my knowledge. And so like if they wanted it to be a card collector thing, they would have put way more card collectors out there. But it seems like they know that market is into cards. They're trying to reach others. And so again, whether you agree or don't agree with that plan, I think it's actually a good plan for growing this, and that's what he said he's trying to do. And we've all heard the clip of like Michael Rubin saying he wants to 10x the hobby. Well, to do that, you bring in more people, and obviously your best people to bring in are the people that are already into sports. And so it's like you're doing all these games and events and all these like social media moments. But it's like taking sugar with your medicine. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to sneak the cards of the medicine. You're trying to sneak it in, and you put a little sugar on it to get people to like it. And then it's like, ooh, and then you start liking the taste of the medicine. You know what I'm saying? Not that like cards are bad. I love cards. You get the analogy. Analogies are hard.
But medicine is bad.
Medicine can be. Some medicine's good, right?
They're all like grape flavored and it stinks.
Wow, spoonful of sugar helps the. Okay. So you can tell they are putting a lot of money behind this, and you can tell by the investment in the media. Their social media presence, the amount of clips, like there's clips going around of Kevin Durant sitting on stage when they announced he was going to the Houston Rockets, and his smile, like you could tell he already knew, which obviously he should already know. He's, his agent probably called him 30 minutes before that at the very least and said, "Hey man, you're going to the Rockets," and then they announce it. And so it's like they want to capture those moments to help get that out there and help it spread. Some of it, and I heard some criticisms were like some of it felt contrived or forced or planned. Absolutely, it was. Like, do you know how much, like, I've gotten the chance, and I'm not anywhere on the scale of these people. Like, anybody there, they're all bigger than me, but I have done collaborations with companies that are bigger companies like Google and Canva on the education side. They're some of the bigger ones I've worked with, and I've been to some of their big events where they're brought in, like, Mark Cuban and like a bunch of social media influencers, and I'm kind of like the education world. I was one that they brought in for education side of it, and there's like marketers and personal finance and lifestyle and comedians. Like they bring in different people, but the reason they do that is because they want to reach all those audiences. And so you can tell that one of Fanatics, their strategies is to bring people from these different like sneaker collectors, culture people, sports betting, like all these different pieces, and bring them in and try to overlap those audiences. You've been seeing this for 10 years now with YouTube. YouTubers do collabs. So you've seen YouTubers where it's like, hey, I'm from blah, blah, blah channel, and they get them in their channel. Mm-hmm. They're trying to overlap audiences to share and grow their audience. It's a technique you've seen since people started collaborating in music. Like, Kanye is on Eminem's song. It's so that Kanye's audience hopefully starts liking Eminem and vice versa. They're trying to spread their audiences. And so whenever we go to these events, and I would assume it's the exact same way with all these athletes.
Yeah, like still bringing it with Big Justice and Big AJ.
Yeah.
And
the Rizzler.
FaZe Rug.
And FaZe, yeah, they brought in all those people, and they're trying to like overlap their audiences. Yeah. And so whenever you do these, and again, this is from like the way I've seen, and I'm assuming the Fanatics people work the same way as like Google, Canva, and all them. When they bring in different people, you have a contract. They have you sign a contract. They're like, you settle on an amount, and then they pay you that amount to come in, and you have a bullet point list of things you have to do or record or create while you're there. So like if I go do something for one of these companies, they'll be like, you've got to make like usually it's like 3 to 7 story posts, and you have to tag them in it, and you have to tag certain hashtags, and then you have to go in and you have to make like one day of video. And so like it's funny when all these like people that are creators come in, you can see them all like shooting videos for their stuff that they have in their contract, and then like we're all like editing from like 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. because we have to get that video sent into the company, approved, and then we have to post it with the appropriate hashtags and the affiliate stuff. And then the companies from there, they can like hope that it hits organically, but then a lot of companies that are smart, they're just going to boost that post like for 30 days or 60 days. And you have a contract and how many days they can boost it. And then they can like pay you more money to boost it for another, 30 to 60 days. And so that's how most of them work. So I would guarantee these athletes and these celebrities like the Rizzler, when he came in, they were probably like, okay, when you come in, you're going to do a break at a card shop, which I saw him do that. You're going to do that the night before. You're going to be at this trade night. You're going to be on this stage. I know he went at the trade night. I'm just like giving examples. Like they were like, you're going to be on this stage for an interview. You're going to be over here and you're going to record a podcast. You're going to compete in the Fanatics games. I don't think he did, but you get the idea. Like, you have a bullet point of things you have to do. I would bet money that for a lot of these athletes and celebrities, in their contract was they had to go in and buy a card from a table. That was them trying to overlap because, Kevin Durant throwing a football, 40 yards into a basket, that's content for everybody. But Kevin Durant at a table buying a Victor Wembanyama rookie card, that's going to overlap with the hobby, and then hopefully more people kind of lean in and start collecting. So I get that technique, and I think it's actually a smart way to do it because you're not forcing people. You're not telling, all I want you to do is walk around the card show and buy cards. Like
the Popeyes commercial with John Morant and it was what's his name?
I don't know.
Anthony Edwards.
Oh, yeah?
And they dunk the chicken into it.
Yeah.
And John Morant is like, free throw, and he has the sauce, and he's like...
It's exactly like it.
But Anthony Edwards actually dunked it, and there was just, like, that big bucket of, like actual sauce, and he jumped up and
put
dipped
it in.
The chicken in it. And he's like,
who's a better dunker, Anthony Edwards or John Morant?
Maybe Jaw has, like, my opinion, Anthony Edwards, but Jaw had a cool dunk. He jumped over.
He almost made. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was after the butt. That was still sick.
Yeah.
So I want to give you my thoughts. So that was our recap, but I would like to give my thoughts. Like, if Michael Rubin called me and was like, Tyler, what can we do to improve this even more for next year? First off, I cannot imagine how much money they spent on this thing. It was insane. They had to lose money because it was so much. And I know, like, I've heard numbers of what some of these people cost, these athletes and celebrities. They spent like multiple millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions. I bet, and just endorsements for celebrities, they spent 40 to 100 million minimum just to get those celebrities and athletes there, because these people are so expensive. Like, people you've never heard of charge 100K just to be at stuff. And so my thought, to get an even better overlap, I was surprised, and I get the idea of like leaning into the sports side and then just like slowly weaving in the sports cards. I think they had because I saw a lot of creators, a lot of sports card creators. And again, our market is not huge with regards to creators. Like, the big ones are like Card Collector 2, Jeff Wilson. I would say they're probably like the two biggest creators in the space. King of Cards, Kyle Kravitz, he's really good. He's got a lot, especially Instagram, and his YouTube's growing really fast. But like, they're the ones you see the most of, and they have the most subscribers, the most continual audience. Those guys are there. Like, I saw Jeff Wilson do one deal. Like, I guess a player came up and bought a card from him. I don't know who it was, but they bought a card from him. So he was on that video. But I saw like Card Collector 2, like Wembanyama, when we were standing there watching Wembanyama, Card Collector 2, which is one of the biggest sports card creators, he's like 2 tables over. And I saw a video he did on his Instagram. He's just like near Victor. He had no interaction, nothing. That was a wasted opportunity, in my opinion, because one, you're getting like a guy who already knows and has an audience that is built trust with on social media, overlapping with Victor and vice versa. Like, my thought would be, you've got these creators, like big, like I'm a small creator in this space, but you've got all these creators and you've got all these athletes, and the people escorting these athletes around are like, it's security guys, which they're not going to like chat. They might talk a little, but they're not like chopping it up, making social media videos with these athletes, celebrities. And then they're talking to like big wigs and like CEOs, and, they've got a person, but like, their hosts aren't anybody you've ever heard of or seen. I'm sitting here thinking, like, I've done conferences. When you have a guest in, like a big name guest, they have a host, and that host guides them through it, gets them to like, these celebrities aren't memorizing their agenda like I have to when I do an event. Like, they're being told, go here, go here, go here. Why not have a sports card creator host an athlete? You've got plenty of us, like small guys like me. Like, you think I would, if we were hosting Jordan Poole and or Jared McCain, like, I'm the biggest JP fan in the world. Jared McCain was there serving Starbucks. Like, if Starbucks would have allowed me to like, hey, I'm going to go there, Jared's going to do his thing, I'll make content back there with Starbucks, but then I walk Jared McCain around the floor, show him like, hey man, I have 33 of your Prism Silvers raw. Like, he's like, really? He probably doesn't collect his own cards, and I could explain to him the market and what he has and then how much they could go up. It's just really cool.
Yeah,
like,
and you could maybe do a TikTok dance.
And I went to TikTok. I mean, I'd try it. He's a great dancer, much better dancer than me. But like, if you got somebody like basketball, John, he's got like 20,000 on Instagram, basketball card guy, great personality. He's good at video. He's the world's largest Thomas Bryant fan. If you get Thomas Bryant out there, have him walk the floor with Thomas Bryant, film interactions. Like, he filmed a video of Grant Williams pulling that Luka card. It was like the most viewed video from Fanatics Fest last year. Like, why would you not very easily grab these creators, be like, hey, who are 2 or 3 athletes that you collect that you feel like you can vibe with? We're going to have you host them. Make content, walk around, film stuff, like just guide them and be somebody that athlete can chat with along the way. One, I would think the athlete would enjoy their time there even more, as opposed to just like, being ushered around. But also, like, that is an awesome content opportunity. Like Mike Gio, he's one of the him and Jesse host Sports Cards Nonsense, the largest and best podcast in sports cards. He's also a huge Tom Brady guy. He has one of the best, like, from what I understand, he's got one of the best Tom Brady collections in the world. Why not have him not just do a sit-down interview with Tom for like 10, 15 minutes, but have him walk around? Mike's got one of the best personalities. He could introduce Tom, show him cards, that would be such good content that now you could spread out over the year and overlap. And then whenever people who like Tom Brady see a video of Tom Brady talking to a guy about cards, they could be like, oh,
more Tom Brady stuff.
They're going to like more Tom Brady stuff. And you know what they also might like? Mike Gio. And then they might go into Mike Gio and so start listening to Sports Cards Nonsense Radio. You've now got somebody else that gets in the hobby and they get educated, listen to the podcast, and now they're listening all year. Now they're going not just for the event and Tom Brady, they're going for the cards. It's like if you could find a way to hand off these like people who are fans of these athletes and these YouTubers, find a way to overlap them with sports cards creators and grow the sports card creator, you're giving that fan someone to dive in with in sports cards and learn and grow and like keep that hook going for the year until next year, and then they're there for both. That's my pitch. Like, I think that would be a huge thing. Like, legit, and I even pitched this because I applied to like be on the media team for Fanatics Fest. I didn't get a reply and I didn't get in. Obviously, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't care. I mean, I do care. I would have loved to do it. But my pitch was, I'll do anything content-wise and I can make a ton of content. But I think one of the coolest things would be like if you got Jordan Poole out there or Jared McCain, I collect those dudes. I collect a ton of their stuff. If you have me walk around with them for the day and we do the stuff they need to do, but then also we film pieces in between and I educate them about cards, we could overlap that content. And like, people that follow me, they might not all collect Jordan Poole, but they all know I am a Jordan Poole collector if they've seen any of my stuff. And so it's just like a cool thing for them to be a part of. And then you bring people over that like JP but don't collect cards. Like, that's my opinion of thing they could do easy for next year to help elevate. And maybe they will when they get the licenses for like basketball and football. Like, I could see where that's what they're waiting on. But I think that crossover with sports card creators and these athletes, and then sharing that audience and like handing them off to these creators to like help curate their hobby, interest over the year and then get them into cards. That's my pitch. I will say this too. So we were there. Last thing I want to say, and it's another easy thing they could do as a tip. We were there. Remember, we were at the Nike booth that first day?
Yep.
And we were out there, and it's where you got your Asia Wilson jersey. I got my Paige Becker's jersey. Yeah, look at that. Flex on him, bro. He got this made. He put this patch. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. He got this patch put on. I got a Travis Scott patch on my Paige jersey. I'm going to try to get her to sign it. That'd be cool. So we were there, and Titus, my oldest son, she asked him to be in a video. Finn couldn't because he was too young. He had to be at least, 13?
No, she said 14.
14. Yeah, and so it was a young lady, and she like interviewed him and asked him a couple questions. Well, I talked to her, and her mom was there with her, and I was chatting with them. They were there, and Nike had them come in, essentially as like, I said I'd done stuff with Canva and Google at different events and a couple other companies. They did that with her. Nike did, because Nike's spending a ton of money. They had 2 booths. They had the Lego booth. They had the merch booth. They're spending a lot of money at this thing, and it would be silly of them not to promote it outside of the Nike channels, reach out to different markets. This young lady, she does not follow sports. Like, she even said that. She's like, I don't know much about sports, but they had her there making content to advertise for Nike. And then I saw Nike pushed some of her videos, Titus wasn't on there, pushed her videos on their channel. And it's like you're sharing and they can boost to her audience and get them to start buying Nike. And she does like like I don't know what kind of content. Ezra, my daughter, we sent a picture of her with my son Titus, and Ezra texted back my daughter. She goes, "Oh my gosh, I follow her," and so it was like really cool. And so it's like that's one thing I would recommend is if I was Michael Rubin, any of these companies that come in, you know, he owns Topps, that's part of Fanatics, but like you get Nike, you've got the NBA Finals was there, you had what else? There were some wrestling companies, UFC, like all these different companies, Dick's Sporting Goods. What I'd recommend is in their contract, not only do they have to pay for a booth, they have to allocate a certain amount of money to go towards like smaller influencers. I say smaller. She has 5 million subscribers on YouTube. She's a big influencer. But to put towards influencers to have them come in and make more content and spider web out that that overlap of interest. And I think that would be a really easy one because I don't think that was required. Like I think Nike just brought her in. Like Nike should have brought in 20 different influencers and had them spread out and make content. Like you're just bringing in more celebrities because like those YouTubers with Finn, like when he named all the people, he didn't name all the athletes. He saw other athletes walk by. He named Sketch. He named the Rizzler. He named Speed. Like a lot of these young people, they are more like interested in seeing these like YouTubers and streamers than they are some of these athletes. And so it's like this next generation coming in, they grow up watching these people constantly. So I think that is an easy in for these companies. So if I was Ruben, I'd be like, all right, you're going to get a booth. You have to get at least 5 to 10 influencers come in and promote your brand, but at Fanatics Fest. And then you're just spiderwebbing out your audience. Because my guess is his plan to help grow the hobby is spread out in other markets and then get them in. And then eventually, hopefully, they open a pack and start collecting some cards. So those are my tips. If you had any tips, if you were there, tell me what you think in the comments.
Yeah, it was fun.
You had a blast? Yeah, it wasn't like a normal car show. Normal car shows, they get pretty exhausted because I'm just like looking at cars the whole day. And Finn even likes cars, but he'll get tired looking at them for a while. Yeah. Titus isn't into cars. He just like sits there and reads and like gets to pick where we have dinner, which he loves road trips. But it's like this gave you and Titus something to do the whole time. Like at the very end, some of the lines got pretty long for some of the activities.
Yeah, so we would just go to another one. They had like several stuff there.
They had a bunch of stuff there. Yeah, we did a bunch, and we're gonna try to. We recorded a bunch for a vlog, so if you want to subscribe, I'm more than welcome to. But we're gonna put out those vlogs as soon as I get them edited. But like near the end of the last day they were there, they were kind of like, I think they just wanted to like wait in line and do the F1 thing. So while they were in line, I looked at cards, and I have to worry about it because like they were together and it was really cool. So
yeah, and it was convenient because right when it was so convenient because right when we were in the front of the line, like the Rizzler came.
That's when the Rizzler came. I know, and I was trying to make because I was doing a deal for that Kobe big man on court, and so like they texted and said the Rizzler was there. I was about to go up there and just be like, if they were too shy, I was gonna be like, hey, would you take a picture with my kids? Because they were like the next in line. But they said he had a lot of security, so it was kind of. And that's the other thing. Like, I'll tell you one thing. So the security was a little intense, which they gotta be because there's a lot of fans, and it can get. I mean, he almost got crushed trying to get Logan Paul's autograph.
Yeah, I was one kid.
He was like shoving Finn. So I'm like, I was filming for a while, and then I had to like put my arm in there, and I had to quit filming. I just used my filming arm to hold those kids off because they were crushing Finn. But my guy got that auto. That's pretty on a Prime bottle. He's been carrying around for 2 days.
Yeah, I would have. You know what I did?
What?
I jumped out.
Look, and he signed it, and you got it. And so there was a couple instances where the security was a little pushy, but you know they're trying to protect these. I get it, but also when you do that and you have the security so strict, you cut out those natural interactions. And I get that they're like doing it like, oh, you're gonna go to this table and we're gonna record it, but like some of the best interactions are like the fan interactions when you're walking around or you're at the thing. Like we make those videos at Grizzlies games, and people seem to like us making videos of us interacting with those players. Like those natural interactions that fans have with players, like that's what we're in this because we respect the game of these players. We respect how much work goes into the excellence they have in their field, and like we like a lot of their personalities, and that's kind of the fun part, right? Seeing that interaction, that personality, that natural personality coming out. And I think that'd be a cool thing to interact with. And I tried to, so I'll tell you, I'll end with this story. So, well, 2 stories. We were in that aisle and they started like pushing us back because Wembanyama was coming. And like we're standing there and like security's like, move back, move back. And like we're trying to get out of the aisle, but people have piled in because they know somebody's coming. And like we can't go because we were like the last ones and we're like waiting to move. It's like cattle moving. And the guy kept like yelling, move back, move back. And he kept yelling and he like yelled it at us. And I just go like this. I said, hey man, we're trying. We can't go anywhere. Like they're all in our way. And he goes, And he was like, okay, I get it. Like, but he's like, stop yelling in our ear because we were like, we're trying. We physically cannot move unless I shove people to the ground, and then that's dangerous. And so that was cool. And Victor didn't get a chance to sign. I know he wanted to sign your jersey, but he had a Victor jersey on. He looked at you and gave you the deuces.
No, he was like towering over everyone, and literally like one of the
he looked at you. I think he looked at you.
The cameraman had to go like fill
I know because he was so tall. And then the last day was when you guys weren't there. I don't think I've told you this. So I'm standing there and I was like, I looked at cards pretty much the last day because they weren't there. So I was like, I did a couple of events like in the basketball thing before everybody got busy. But then I was looking at cards, and when you see a big crowd of people walk by, you're like, oh, there's somebody famous. Yep. And I turn around and Victor can't hide. He's a tall dude. Well, you know who else can't hide? Kevin Durant. They were walking. There was a line of people, and then you see Katie's like shoulder, neck, and head. I'm like, there's Kevin Durant. And I'm like sitting there. I was like, oh, there's KD. And I see him like walk to the side, and I remembered. I go, you know what? Like, there was a small booth. It was a PSG, which is Paris Saint-Germain. They're a soccer club, and they did a collab with Kevin Durant. So they were selling like basketballs for like a couple $100, and like they had some jackets that were pretty sweet. They were like 900, and then they just had like a collab where they had KD and Paris Saint-Germain collabing on these like pieces.
That Paris coat
that was pretty sick, right? That was dope. I did not buy it, but it was dope. And so I thought to myself, you know what? If I was Kevin Durant, I would probably make an appearance at the booth where they had a collab with me. And so when I saw him walk by, I put the cards down at that table. And I kind of walked straight there because he was walking right, and I knew it was this way. So I went straight there, and I was like, I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit and just see. And I'm walking around, and I talked to him yesterday about maybe buying a basketball because I thought it'd be cool to get it signed by KD. And so I'm walking around just chatting with him about stuff. And then I noticed they started like putting the security stuff out. And I was like the only dude in there. It was like me and like 7 workers were the only ones in there. And I was like, oh, shoot. I might get put in here, and Kevin comes in, and like that would be an interaction. I get to talk with Kevin. I have my meta glasses. I have my video. Like I could make some content, right? It wouldn't look forced because it would like
take you out. Right?
Well, spoiler alert, they did. I'm sitting there, and they started closing it up, and then the security got there, and they started clear. Like they were like, and I was at the time I was about to buy that $200 basketball because I'm like, I want that ball. And so I'd been chatting with him. I'm standing there. I'm about to pay. Dude has the ball, and he's got his card reader, and I'm about to pull my card out. And the security guy comes up and he's like, you got to get out of here. Get out right now. And I'm like, oh. I was like, I'm sorry. He's like, nope, you can get out. You get out right now. You can do that later. Well, we got somebody coming. I go. And I was kind of like half joking. I go, is it Kevin Durant? And he goes, I can't tell you who it is. And I was like, oh, sorry, dude. All right, cool. And so I was like, okay. And the guy like looked at me, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll get out. He's like, they'll give you white glove service. You just get out. And I was like, okay. And so, yeah, that means like really good service. I was like, okay. It's like saying they'll be nice to me. I just have to wait an hour till I can come back in there. And so I was like, okay. And so I walked out, and it wasn't far because it was a small booth. And I went on the other side of the little like partition. And then they had a security guards at each of those. There was like 2 entrances. They were standing at both of those. And I was like, I asked, and it was a different guy that came up, and he was super cool. And I was just like, so is it cool if I stand here? He's like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, just chatting with him, and I was asking him like, who are the coolest people he had to wear? He said John Cena was like really nice and cool. He said he was super, like he got to be around him all day. And I was like, okay, dope. And I was like, we were just talking. Well, then that original guy came up that was kind of aggressive, and he was like, if they come through here, you're going to have to move back. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And he goes, and I don't need to ask you like I did 4 times earlier. He said that comment, and I just go, dude, I wasn't trying to be like rude. I was trying to buy something. I wasn't trying to be rude about it. And then he like calmed down because I wasn't like being aggressive back. I was just like, I mean, I'm not trying to ruin your flow here, you know? And yeah, he calmed down a little bit.
Not aggressive. He's nice.
I try to be pretty chill unless you like come at me. And then I was like, dude, I wasn't trying to be anything. And he was just, and he calmed down a little because he saw that I wasn't trying to like go against his power. Like I was like, dude. And the guy, his buddy told me after, he's like, yeah, it's kind of stressful. And I was like, I get that. And so I stood there for a while, just like waiting. And then some lady came up, and I think I have part of this on film, but she was like, hey, you have to move back. I was like, oh, okay. And she goes, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be rude. I was like, we have somebody. I was like, okay, it's no worries. I'll move back. And so I scooted back a little bit, and then I saw the crowd, and she goes, Kevin, I know you're waiting on Kevin. Kevin Durant's not coming. I go, oh, okay, no worries. And then I asked somebody else. I was like, who is this? Because there was a crowd of people. It was the owner of Paris Saint-Germain. And then Michael Rubin, the owner of Fanatics, came up, and they were both right there. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but like, I'd rather see KD. I like KD, you know. And so I was like, y'all be good. And I left. But it was that was the only like negative interaction I had But it wasn't negative. Like, I know security's got a hard job because they like, you guys, when there's a celebrity, like these people are just like mobbing them. And so like figuring out the logistics of that is hard. But so I get it. But also like, I think more natural fan interactions, that's something that people are attracted. Because like, y'all know on the internet, people want authenticity. Like they want it to be real. They don't want it to feel fake or contrived. And so that's the coolest moments I think were from those authentic moments. Like seeing Katie's face when the news broke, that was kind of cool, you know? I saw a meme that said, the next time you see this, and it was a screenshot of Katie's face, just know I knew before you told me. Because they knew Katie's face was like, yeah, I knew I was going to the Rockets. So there's another clip. I don't know if you saw it. KD was like, this is really smart too. Like a lot of the booths had like a second floor. So like you go in past the door and that's where they would house a lot of these athletes. And they would have like their meetings. They'd have food for the people working there. And so I was walking by once and I was like literally filming an Instagram story. And I look up and I was like, oh, there's KD. Because I saw people looking up there. And I saw a clip later when he got there, somebody threw him a jersey for him to sign. And as soon as he caught it, like he was going to sign it, somebody threw a ball, a shoe. Like it looked like he was getting bombarded with people trying to sell him stuff. And his face was like, come on, man. It was pretty good. Because KD is one of the best signers. I think he signed the jersey. I don't know if he signed everything else. I didn't see it on the video. But KD was honestly, we went to the Grizzlies game when he was there with the Suns. One of the best signers there. He was super chill. So
yeah, I mean,
so. Oh, yeah, you got the shoe from it. Well, yeah, you can pull it out. I'll show you the shoe. If you're on YouTube, you can see the shoe we got signed by KD. I've had these shoes for like 7 or 8 6, 7 years. Sorry, I didn't mean to say 6, 7. Look at this. He signed. This is the YouTube when it came out when he was with the Warriors. I bought it because I love YouTube, and he started vlogging a little. And so I got this signed. We have the other one, so we're going to try to get the other one signed because I'm keeping this one. You've got the Booker, and then we'll swap, which he's not on the Suns anymore. But there you go. Yeah, okay. Thank you, guys. Any final words?
Wait, who's not on the Suns?
Kevin Durant. He's on the Rockets now. They traded him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, you want to say anything to anybody? Anything else? One last thing. Sorry, I thought we were going to end like 3 times. I just had so much to say.
Peace.
Peace. Y'all be good. Stay sweet and never stop collecting. Sports cards are dope. And so are you, Fennec. So are you. I love you, buddy. Thanks for going with me. You're awesome. Bye, guys.